I am Anna Seewald, and this is Authentic Parenting. Hello, and welcome to the final episode of the year. A year in review, pausing, reflecting, and looking ahead. This episode has become a bit of a tradition around here, a chance to slow down and look back. I am joined by my dear friend, Christy Lauricella. She's been on the podcast multiple times before. She's well known for her Death and Cupcakes episode. She is a licensed clinical social worker, a mom, and an amazing human being. We reflect on the highlights and the hard moments, the challenges we faced, the lessons we learned, and the things we want to remember from this year, as well as the moments we almost forgot. We also answer a set of reflective questions, which I will make available for you to download freely if you would like to do this exercise for yourself. And of course, we share our words of the year. Mine turns out to be completely unexpected for Christy. The intention is to pause, take stock, and gently set intentions for what's ahead. We also talk about books, podcasts, shows, movies, songs, experiences that stayed with us this year. I want to say this clearly. Nothing in this conversation is about doing the year right. It's not about fixing or judging or tying everything up neatly. It's simply about noticing who we have been, what this year asked of us, and what we might want to carry forward. Think of this episode as an invitation to slow down, reflect, and close the year with a little more intention and self-compassion. Wishing you a holiday season filled with warmth, love, and peace. Thank you for being part of the Authentic Parenting community. Happy holidays. Well, Christy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Anna. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
I know. I enjoy our podcast conversations and in-person ones as well, which almost sound like podcasts. I don't know. Every time we communicate, we have conversations. I'm like, this is a podcast. Let's record it. So just to show how much we enjoy each other's company and how much we talk about interesting and deep subjects sometimes.
And how brilliant we are.
Ah, yes, I know. That too. So reflecting on the year to 2025, how was it for you this year? I feel like this year came and went by so fast. That's my feeling. How was it for you?
For me, it was a heavy year.
Heavy is the word that comes to mind. Yeah. As you know, I also experienced personal challenges for the big chunk of the year, like 7 years. And so it feels like nothing happened. On the other hand, when I was I was preparing for this episode, I usually go back to my camera roll. I look at my photos in my phone, at my journals, and everywhere else I leave notes for myself. And I'm like, wow, so much has happened. And the funny thing is I forgot that those things happened this year. I thought they were events from a previous year. I'm like, wow, really? I went there. It was this year. So for me, this year was a blur, I guess, because of the personal challenges. Like 7 months, we were like, it was not the same. So and for you, it was heavy in terms of like the political climate and the war in the world and all those things. I mean, or just personally?
I think like overall state of the world was pretty heavy. And also 2 very dear friends of mine passed away this year.
Oh, that's right.
And like people whom I consider young, like contemporaries of mine, and so just losing friends who are around your own age, I think is always kind of makes you reflect a lot on your own life and your own mortality. So, yeah.
Yeah. I knew about one of them, but I mean, yeah, contemporaries, I feel like, are we at that age now that we're going to lose contemporaries. Like it feels like, death is inevitable. A lot of death happened, yeah, did this year, like in my circles too. And it's like sometimes I wish I was younger, that I wasn't aware of life's real things, It's nice to be young and naive. And I know I miss sometimes that. Like growing up is not fun, you know? You have to deal with all those things. And my mother-in-law passed away, as you know. So the death was very front and, what do they say, center in our lives too. What did you, like, how did it impact you? What did you learn? Like, what did you think about during those times? I mean, losing young friends is like, wow, that's.
One of the friends who I lost was totally unexpected. He died in his sleep. So that was like a very jarring kind of, it was a college friend who I kept in regular touch with. And, so that's a different kind of death, compared with the other loss of my friend Sarah, who had been going through cancer treatment on and off for quite a few years. And then ultimately, things were progressing in a way where she chose to go on hospice. And so I fortunately had time to talk to her and meet with her, knowing that our time was limited and being able to have those special moments together and to be able to say goodbye, which, being able to say goodbye is, such a gift.
Yeah, truly it is. Yeah. And we'll get to the questions. And I know you did her memorial. Yeah. So what a great podcast, Christy. We're starting with a deep topic, death. All the listeners are not listening now. Okay. Oh boy, this is, the year was not an easy year. And I hear that from other people. I remember you helped me shape my word for the year, and it was level up. I don't know what I leveled up, but honestly, it's kind of silly to think about the words we choose for the year moment when we're choosing. It feels so significant, and we're like, yeah, I'm gonna rock this coming year. But another year goes by and you're like, where did it go? Okay, next year. And so then life is short, honestly. And a span of a year is very short. As we get older, it feels even shorter. So that was my word of the year. And like you said you don't remember yours.
I don't remember mine, and I tried to hunt it down, and I didn't have enough time to listen to our whole episode, so I ran out of time. But I am looking forward to my word for next year. So I'll remember it. I'm going to write it down in a really important place.
Oh gosh. I write it down in my journal. And so let's talk about quick things, fun things we discovered, interesting things like songs, books, podcasts, shows, movies, experiences, places we've been. Tell me a favorite song of yours from this year. Is there any song that you played over and over and over again?
There is a song that I played when I did my Amazon Music like wrap up. The song that I played the most all year long was really no surprise. It was an Indigo Girls song, Closer to Fine, which became really popular when the Barbie movie came out, but it's like one of their classic songs. And so that's like my fun, like sing along song. And then I have been doing yoga a lot more this year, which I did say that I wanted to do last year, which I'm very glad that I fulfilled that promise to myself. And so I've been listening to some Krishna Das like chants, and it's been good for me to like when I get on my mat, like just kind of listen to something. I don't even necessarily know what the words mean, but it's like a comforting sound, and it lets me kind of just lose myself in the chant.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I've been obsessed with not so much a song, but like an instrumental of a song. The song's name is Take Me to Church by Hozier.
Oh God, I love that song.
I love that song. And it just stays with you. And so I've been playing over and over. There's this guy, his name is David Garrett. He's a violinist. He's a crossover artist. He was like one of my dream artists to see in real life. And I happened to go to his concert this year, which was a dream come true moment. Like I waited 15 years for this moment. I'll tell more about that later, but he does play the instrumental, the violin with his band, this song, and it's phenomenal. So I love that version. I played so many times over and over and over again.
I have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about shows? You recommended some pretty awesome shows to me this year, and I really enjoyed watching the ones that you recommended.
Oh, good. I actually had to go back. I had to Google how to find my like viewing history for Netflix to go back because like once you watch it, it like kind of falls off your page.
True.
So it was a little depressing to see how much television I've watched over this year. But I came up with a bunch of titles that I was just pulling up my list here. I came up with a bunch of shows that I really loved, and some more recent and some were earlier in the season. What do you want me to just talk about them? What do you want me to? Yeah.
Just name some of your favorites, like the top one favorite maybe or three favorites.
Well, in terms of like series, I really love Mindhunter, which is it's from a few years ago, but it's kind of like a fictionalized version of the story of the FBI agents who started like psychological profiling. It's so good, such a good series if you like true crime. And then the Four Seasons with Steve Carell and Tina Fey. You watched that, right?
Think you recommended it. I watched it. Was it one season or were there is more? Because I watched like one season, I believe, or one episode maybe, but it was short. It ended.
Yeah, it was one season. I think they're coming out with another season that they filmed in New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then the one I know that you enjoyed, the more recent one, The Beast in Me with Claire Deans, that was like so suspenseful and really, really juicy. I loved.
Yeah, I love that one too. I don't know. I should have looked at the history, which I don't know how to do. I should have Googled it like you. And so I don't even remember what show I would recommend, but probably The Beast in Me is the more recent one that I watched that you recommended. Other than that, I don't remember any others. We should really.
Oh, you watched Sirens.
Oh, I did. Did you recommend that to me?
I think you might have recommended it to me.
I watched Sirens because my cousin recommended, and hey, 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 this is the only thing I remember from that show. I didn't like that show. I believe did I watch it this year? Big Little Lies. I think I was late to the game. I think I watched it this year and I really enjoyed it. I read that author's books as well. Leanne Moriarty. And I think they're coming up with the next season, the fourth season. It's an excellent show. I really enjoyed that. So other than that, I don't think I have anything to contribute. Podcasts, I didn't listen to new podcasts, even the old ones. I listened to a lot of audio books this year. How about books? I am in a book club, so I read all the book club books. And the best one this year, I think, was Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. It's about friendship, a female and a male friendship, and video game making, but it's more than that. It touches on a lot of subjects. It's a really fantastic book. Highly recommend. There are memorable quotes from it, and it really stayed with me. It's a great book. I read a bunch of other books. My Brilliant Friend, I think I recommended last year because I had read it earlier, and I read the whole series. Yeah, that's a good book, I think, from this year.
Well, I think last year I recommended Radical Acceptance
Oh, that's true by Tara Brach.
by
Yeah.
Tara Brach. And this year I will recommend Welcoming the Unwelcome by Pema Chodron. It's a book that I have on audiobook, and when I'm very stressed out and driving, I put it on and it's very relaxing.
That's good. I like that. How about an experience that you had, a memorable experience?
Well, I realized I had a few great experiences this year. One of the more recent memories that I have is going into the city with my longest my longest best friend, Lee, who we've been friends since we were 8 years old. It was her birthday, and we went into the city to see Keanu Reeves on Broadway in Waiting for Godot. And that was pretty amazing to see Keanu Reeves live on stage. It was a wonderful production. And to see it with, one of my best friends, she was so excited. She's been in love with Keanu Reeves like her whole life. So it's a wonderful memory.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. How about you?
An experience for me is the Lower Antelope Canyon. I've shared with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went to Arizona, to Sedona and to Grand Canyon with a few of my friends. And we took a tour of the Lower Antelope Canyon, and it was just a magnificent experience. It's hard to describe in words. And I told you it was this immersive experience. Like you were in the experience. When I was looking at the Grand Canyon, you take the whole view. This is how I compare and contrast. When you look at something magnificent, it's different, but when you are in it, it's a sensorial experience. So that experience like still reverberates in me. The colors, the warmth, the light, the blue sky coming through the cracks of this canyon. And yeah, so that was definitely an experience
Yeah,
once in a lifetime.
those photos that you shared with me were so gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I highly recommend that. That was an amazing experience. So, shall we go through the questions and quickly answer them? We have reflective questions for 2025 and then some for 2026. And I will have this available for the listener so that they can download and do this exercise themselves, which I always have it available as a PDF form. So the first question is, what is the most important lesson you learned this year? And I'm asking you, Christy, is there a lesson you learned this year?
Well, in my notes, I wrote say the thing. And that for me, that especially with friends who I've lost this year, one friend I did get to say the things that I wanted to say, and one friend I didn't, and I think that it's just a good reminder of when you're with the people that you love to, it can be hard, but to tell them like how much they mean to you. And yeah, so say the thing is my most important lesson for this year.
For me, I remember that very moment. So, do you know the Swedish group band ABBA? So this ABBA, obviously they're not together anymore, but there is like the people who continue their work. There's a band. They came to Princeton in the summertime, and I went to their concert. They were playing all their songs. It was fantastic. And the crowd stood up. We were all dancing, and it was so nice. And I was just like, you don't know anyone in this concert, but you become friends and you're dancing. Everybody was having a great time. And I just looked like, for a moment, I'm like, wow, arts, music will save the world. Like, why are humans fighting? Why are there wars in the world? Why can't we dance together? Create like art, music. This is what matters. I remember having that feeling that I have hope in humanity. Like I had those grand feelings in that moment, by looking at people and being amongst people. That was my lesson that yeah, art and music, it will save us. We have to do more of it and participate more.
Well, yeah, and actually kind of tying our two lessons together. One of the things that my friend Sarah was doing in her last weeks of life was memorizing poems that she loved. She was an English teacher and she loved poetry. She was also a poet herself, but she was memorizing a few of her favorite poems, and she shared one with me, and it was such a beautiful way to be with her and to receive her reading of that poem, and of course knowing her time was so short on the earth, it made it even more beautiful, so definitely I think a lot of people don't really think of poetry unless like they need to like read something at somebody's funeral or something. I think Ethan Hawke was like quoted talking about poetry and how we need to incorporate poetry into our day to day, not just for the sad times.
Agree. As a side note, I would say that growing up in the Soviet Union, part of the education, they taught us a lot of poetry, Russian poetry, Armenian poetry. It was big part of the curriculum. I know so many poems by heart to this day, by Pushkin, by Lermontov, by Armenian poets. To this day, I haven't forgotten them. And when you're young, you're learning those poems. You don't even know the meaning, right? But yeah, poetry is very revered in our countries. Poets, and when you go into the city, you see busts and statues of poets, in the city. Yeah, it's very interesting. Many, many children's poetry books.
Can I put you on the spot and ask you to
To
recite
recite something?
one of the
Oh
poems that
my
you remember?
gosh. Oh boy. I'll be embarrassed to do that. I don't know. I have to prepare maybe. Белая береза под моим окном. That's Lermontov. No, maybe another time. Yeah, but it's a big part of the curriculum. My father was a poet too, so poetry is like big for me. I really enjoy poetry. But we digress, my dear friend. We have questions to answer. The second question is, what's the best thing that happened?
You go first.
I go first. What's the best thing that happened? I don't know. The best thing I think was going to that concert that I described in New York City, my favorite artist, David Garrett, going to his concert. That was very special. Yeah. How about you?
I have, best thing that happened. Whew, that's hard. There's so many things. Like the thing that keeps coming to my mind is like finding a new school for our son,
Mm-hmm.
which was really such a wonderful discovery. And he loves his new school and he's really thriving. And I think that's probably the best thing that happened this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. Well, so then we have questions about what challenges did you overcome? What skills did you learn? What did you do for your career growth? What did you enjoy the most? What was your favorite moment? How did you have fun? I think we can combine some of those questions maybe into what were some of the highlights this year and if you learned some skills and maybe challenges. Did you overcome any challenges this year?
Overcoming challenges, I would say one big challenge I was having this year was that I was experiencing a lot of various signs of like perimenopause, and it was driving me crazy. I was getting hot flashes and night sweats, and I was really just not feeling like myself. And like every ad on my social media was had to do with hormone replacement therapy. And I read the book you gave me about menopause, and I did wind up talking to my gynecologist and finding a good hormone replacement therapy for me, and it really has made a huge difference in my how I feel and my sleep quality. So I would say that was a big obstacle that I didn't overcome menopause, but I'm dealing with the symptoms.
Yeah, no, that's a big one. We just recorded another episode about perimenopause and hormone therapy specifically. That's going to air in February. She's also very well known. She's written books and she's a medical doctor. Oprah did things with her. So it was quite eye-opening to do that. Yeah, I'm glad you did that. That can make a big difference. Challenges for me were the personal, like the family stuff. And what I learned is like sometimes it takes time for the challenge to disappear or get better. I guess that sometimes you can't do much to overcome something. Sometimes it's a matter of time. And like that's my takeaway from that experience. Highlights this year. What were some of the highlights? I'll go first. One of the highlights for me was that I met one of my listeners, Colleen, in real life in person. And it was long overdue. We've talked a lot about that. And she's part of the support group and all of that. And so it was great meeting in person. It was like we knew each other. No awkwardness, nothing. It was like, wow. We've spoken to, in our support groups for years about everything. We knew everything about one another, and it was fantastic. I traveled quite a bit this year. For someone who doesn't like traveling, I traveled quite a bit. I went to many concerts, birthday parties like milestone 40th, 60th, my daughter's 17th birthday. I went to weddings and I attended, regardless of the challenges. This is what struck me when I was doing this exercise before we record, was that when I reflect on the year without doing an analysis, for me was like, wow, it was a horrible year. Like in terms of podcasting, I didn't bring my A game. I dropped the ball. Like it wasn't the best podcasting year. And it was the 10th anniversary and the personal challenges that took place for 7 months. And that was my overall feeling. But when I looked through everything and analyzed my year, I'm like, wow, like regardless of those things, I've been to places, I've done fun things, I've danced, concerts, birthdays, so much I have done. And so that shows that life is, there's the light and the dark, there's everything. That's what life is. You know, we can't just hyper focus on the negative. While I was going through challenges, I was also having fun. And that's life. That's okay. You know, it's constant reminder not to feel guilty. You know, if something is bad, not working in your life, you don't have to deprive yourself of the good stuff also, right? In fact, the opposite, go out and have fun so that you can have some kind of balance. Not always possible, but don't feel guilty, you know, for if you are in a challenging place to have fun and to have enjoyment or, you know, something positive even. Yeah, that was that. I danced a lot this year, and that's another. I went to this event called Ball for All at the Princeton Art Museum, and I just danced the whole night. I had so much fun dancing. Danced at the wedding, danced at the concert, danced at the Halloween party. It was just, I had like relaxed. I love dancing. So like that embodied experience. And I'm like, I want to dance more. Like, where can we go to dance more? Not like a club type of environment. That's not the type of dancing I want, but like wholesome, nice, you know, dance. And so I sought that this year a lot, and it happened. How about you? What were some of the highlights for you?
Well, related to that, I went on a yoga retreat with my yoga teacher, Bobby Ellis, and it was really wonderful. It was 4 days and 3 nights, and it was just enough time to like really take a break from day to day. And it was a lot of yoga, but also a lot of journaling and drawing and communicating in circle with other women and dancing. And it was a really restorative experience, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I also attended a few weddings and bridal showers this year, and it's always nice to see young people making memories and starting their lives together. I love that.
Being naive and not knowing what's
Yeah.
coming.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. Yeah.
So much ahead of them.
No, I know young people getting married and us perimenopausal women. I'm like, oh, what is marriage? It changes so much, right? People's perspectives. Yeah.
I don't know. These two couples that got married, they seemed so mature. They just seemed so, I don't know, wise for their ages.
That's how we all start.
Is it?
No, I'm
Okay.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I
I'm
have
kidding.
hope for them.
No, I'm kidding. I'm being very mean. No, no, no. Disregard people. Yes. Yeah. Weddings are fun.
One of the best memories that I made this year was I was fortunate enough to go to Venice with my husband on a work trip in January. And January is apparently a really great time to go to Venice because there's no crowds and it's still beautiful, even though it's pretty cold. But we went to a Vivaldi taught violin in Venice, and he composed in Venice, and we went to the cathedral where he used to perform his music, and we listened to a live concert of the Four Seasons in Venice, and it was magical. Like the cathedral was over 1,000 years old, and it was so beautiful. And to hear those instruments in the same space that, that music has been playing for, so many years. It was amazing.
I love Vivaldi. I love the Four Seasons. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah. I also went to two comedy shows this year.
Mm.
One is my favorite comedian, Mike Birbiglia. And that show that I saw is a Netflix special now. You can watch it. It's called The Good Life.
I saw that too.
Yes, I went to that show, and then I went to Maz Jobrani's comedy show, which was also hilarious. I love stand-up comedy.
Maybe we were at the same show.
Maz Jobrani
No, Mike Birbiglia.
in New Jersey. Were you in New Jersey?
Oh no, I went in New York.
You went in New York. Yeah. No, I went in New Jersey, and that became his special.
Wasn't that a beautiful show?
It is. I love his comedy. He's
And he talks
vulnerable.
about life and death
Yeah, he
and
does. He's
everything we're
not.
talking about here.
He's
Yeah.
not your typical comedian. He's very deep and vulnerable at the storytelling. It has this therapeutic effect also. He talks about childhood stuff and his parents. So I love his comedy a lot. And it's clean, like other comedians. Not that I don't have any issues with that. But if anybody wants to go, they should know. I love his comedy.
You mentioned his podcast on last year's end year in review.
Oh, yeah. I listened to his podcast this year. I continued. I didn't discover new podcasts this year, unfortunately, but I did listen to his and some of the older ones that I usually go back to, but I didn't listen to a lot of. Yeah, his is my favorite. It's a comedy podcast, so it's always fun to hear other comedians like crack jokes and work on jokes, and it's about creativity. Yeah, I love that. Did you learn anything new this year? Any new skills, or did you develop new habits?
Definitely a lot of yoga and a lot of like kind of learning more about my body and how it works. And I now have three yoga mats. I have one at my office, one in my bedroom, and one that like stays on the hook that I take with me to yoga class. And so I have no excuse like for forgetting my yoga mat or leaving it anywhere. And I've been trying to throughout my work day because I sit so much for work. I try to kind of pop up in between clients and just even do like 5 minutes of stretching and rolling around on the floor. It's just been, I really, really, really notice a difference in how I feel and how my body responds. So
That's great. Yeah, yeah, we do yoga too, weekly yoga, but I don't have three mats, but it's a good practice. I enjoy doing yoga. As for me, a new habit, I think a habit that became a little more habitual is working out more frequently. I used to do like once a week, twice or three times. This year I did more than three times consistently. And so I'm a lot stronger and it makes a big difference. And once you start going to the gym, it wasn't a habit for me. Like I always train with someone or with a personal trainer, but now I can go on my own. So it became habitual enough so that I can just go and exercise on my own.
oh, that's great.
I know. Yeah. So that's that. And I continued learning Italian.
Yeah, you took a few classes this year, right?
Yeah, I took it twice, 10 classes each time. So overall, I took 20 classes basically. And I can have a conversation now. I picked it up. It's a beautiful language. I love it. I enjoy it so much. I'm going to take it again. Well, I want to go deeper and deeper, see how much I can learn.
Well, also you took a class on Buddhism as well, right?
Oh, see, that was this year again. I'm forgetting it. Yeah, this year I audited two classes at Princeton University. Yes, the first one was Zen Buddhism. I enjoyed that class. And the second one was, don't laugh, it's a long title, Religion, Philosophy, and Existential Commitments. So both of the classes I enjoyed, definitely, yeah, reflecting on life, commitments, the second one, and the Zen Buddhism definitely opened my eyes learning about Buddhism and particularly Zen Buddhism. It's not what we know, it's not the secular Buddhism, it's not the mindfulness. It was really like the history, how it evolved and changed, how it went to Japan and to Korea, to China, then to Europe, then to America, and what it became. It was just fascinating.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed that. And the existential commitments also, like we learn different philosophical theories about how we make existential commitments, like who to marry, to have a child or not, neighbors, love, and big existential questions. It was quite fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, that's that.
It's nice to be able to access those courses. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I love learning. I think that's what you can say. And so that's another thing. Like I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't go places, right? I'm pretty much here. Like I'm a homebody most of the time. But I do learn. Like that's how my people ask me, where do you find time? How did you find time to learn a language? How do you find time? I'm like, I make time for it. It's not like I go and find it somewhere. The time was sitting there and I went and I carve out time for it because I think it's important. And in today's world of social media and content and overwhelming content, and everybody's selling and promoting, it's just too much of that. I find that I don't want to participate in that. I rather learn something. I use my time differently. And it gives me a peace of mind. It's nice and engaging instead of consuming political content and all of that. This is what I do. It's not escapism, but it's a more positive thing for me. Yeah, that's how I see it. Well, we have questions about what was the best decision you took? How did you fail? What got in the way of your success? What would you do differently if you could? Do you want to answer any of these questions? Did you fail this year?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Nothing, no major failures, but I fail all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing that sticks out for me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to embrace failure because it
Yeah.
usually gets me closer to where I want to go. So,
I agree. I agree. The failure for me would be I canceled Authentic Parenting Retreat to celebrate the 10th anniversary. I had grand plans for celebrating the 10th anniversary. I don't see it as a failure. You see what I mean? I,
no.
I feel like it's more pivoting. It didn't work out, but I'm not gonna cry and pout and be upset about it. I accepted what life gave me and this is what it is. And now in January I have new plans for celebrating the 10th anniversary. So it's okay. It's like you fall, you get up, you continue, and with renewed energy. The failure can turn into success. It's a stepping stone. Like that's how I see it.
Anything you can share about what's happening in January?
Yes, so we are dedicating, when I say we, I mean me, but I consulted with another podcaster friend. So we decided to dedicate the entire month of January to the 10th anniversary, releasing 10 handpicked episodes from the archive, special episodes that I went and listened to a lot of them, and I chose 10 different special ones. So we will release them, re-release them. The month will start with a personal message, reflections from me on a 10th year journey. Then Laura Froyen will interview me. The end. Then with the podcast listeners, we have collective gathering to reflect on the journey and what we've learned. Like there is things like this. And I remember you wanted to interview me too. So there is going to be lots of those kinds of things. And 3 times a week, we're going to have special things in the whole month of January. So there's a lot of stuff
Nice. That sounds great.
because we want to honor the journey, right? We don't want to just gloss over and say it was 10 years. It was 10 years. Let's pause, reflect, and honor and take it all in. I wasn't able to do it last year, but I think it's never too late. And it took a different shape. But this will be the beginning, and maybe there will be other things as the year goes on. But so far, this is what's coming.
And it's the start of your second decade of your podcast.
Oh boy, the second decade. That sounds daunting. I guess wherever it takes me, wherever it takes me, however I can stick around. Yeah. How are you different from a year ago? Are you different, Christy, from a year ago?
I think I am. I think I am different from a year ago. I feel like I'm like slowing down, not in an aging way. I'm just slowing down, like not busy all the time and really more intentional with like how I spend my time and prioritizing like rest and like recharging more more than in the past.
That's nice. Yeah. I guess we did take to talk about a little bit about what did you do for your physical and mental health.
Hmm.
I think we both shared on that. I'm going to skip some of these questions because otherwise we'll be here forever. Here's a good one. What did you let go of? I can go first and you can think. I shared this in the episode that I did with Laura Froen about setting intentions for 2026. I shared that, and this might be a surprise for you because you're probably hearing for the first time. I let go of my book project. Exactly. No more pursuing that book that I was writing. I
Okay.
gave too many years of my life, 3 years. I worked on the proposal and that's blah, blah, blah. And if people want to hear my thoughts on it, I shared in that episode with Laura Froen. But I had to let it go. Like, I can't pursue something that is not going anywhere,
Hmm.
right? The agents, they're like, you need to have millions of followers on Instagram. You have to have a TED Talk. You have to have, I don't know, Jennifer Lopez endorsing you, celebrities. No, it was Beyonce. I'm like, yeah, that sounds wonderful. I interviewed Dan Siegel, Gabor Mate. Like, I don't have access to Beyonce. So it's just a sleazy, disgusting world, the publishing world. And if anybody's listening, I had a fantastic book and I stand behind my book and I made it available however much I have written. I may make it available for my listeners or for the world, like 3, 4 chapters. I'll just self-publish or just release it as an audio book or whatever. I put so much effort and just to be, I just had to let it go. I can't nurse something that does not have it's not viable. And it was an easy decision. At this stage in my life, I know who I am. Yeah, if I have a book, that would be fantastic. If I don't, I'm still the same person. Like the book is not going to make me famous. I'm not chasing those things. And I'm completely okay. It was a creative project. It didn't come to fruition the way I hoped. And I'm folding it and letting it go. I cannot put more energy into something that, you know what I mean? It was a wonderful lesson to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I will have space for more creative projects. I'll work on another book. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm not attached to it. It's not my identity. The only thing is, it was like I worked hard, right, on it. But the process was more important. I learned a lot of things and, it was interesting project to work on. But I think it's time to close that chapter.
Yeah.
Like I had enough of it already, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, and if it just doesn't feel if it doesn't feel right, and it's like dragging you down and
Mm-hmm.
it's time to let it go. Yeah. If you can. It sounds like it was very liberating for you to
It is.
do
It's
that.
kind of
Yeah.
sad and bittersweet, but honestly, it's okay. I have a different attitude about it. How about you? Did you?
Well, that's making me think of something I let go of this year was a position that I was on a board for this nonprofit for many years. And I had tried to resign the previous year and nobody wanted to like fill my role. And so I kind of just let them convince me to like stay on a whole nother year. And I just really like my heart really wasn't in it and I knew I wasn't contributing my best. But I was like so stuck in the middle of this decision, like, oh, if I leave, I'm abandoning this mission of this organization. But like, I'm really also taking up space that someone else can occupy, Like, so I had to kind of talk myself through it over the course of a few months. And it was really hard for me to, tell the director of the organization that I was stepping down from the board. And the world kept turning, like nothing, I kind of like was worried to even just announce that I was stepping down, but they're fine. Everything's fine. And I get to like have that free space. And actually, one of the big reasons why I couldn't keep doing it was because this one yoga class that I love taking on Wednesday nights was conflicting with the board meetings. And it just, now I can go to my yoga class with like total freedom and excitement, and not worry that I'm missing something that I'm supposed to be doing elsewhere. So yeah, sometimes like letting go. I mean, that's a little different. I mean, I know it's not the same as your example, but it was like kind of a responsibility and part of my identity that I had for so long. I felt like I just had to keep doing it just because I had to keep doing it.
I know. Yeah. And we need to question those things from time to time, like inertia gets in. And well, we have questions about, and I'll skim through those questions because the listener can download and do this project in a peaceful way, in a like pause and reflect way. We'll go over quickly. What did you leave unfinished? Are you leaving unfinished project in 2025? I am, but I promise to go back and work on them. How about you?
I guess well, I have one more semester of a program that I'm doing for my training. So that is unfinished and I will finish in May of 2026. So I'm very excited about that.
Mm-hmm. There are some questions I'll read. If you were to talk about this year like a story, how would you write it? How do you describe this year in 3 to 5 keywords? I think we did that in the beginning. What energized you? What drained you? Were you kind to yourself? And what advice would you give to your last year's self?
What energized me, and I actually said this in last year's podcast, which is why I keep doing these podcasts with you, Anna, because they're so helpful. Last year, I said that I wanted to invite more people into my home. And so my husband and I wound up planning a few different gatherings just for our like local friends in the neighborhood to come over and share food and have something to drink. And it was so nice and very energizing. It was nice to see like my old friends meeting my new friends and everybody getting to know each other and having everybody in our home. That was very, very energizing for me.
How about what drained you?
What drained me?
Mm-hmm.
Cleaning my house for those gatherings.
That's funny. And then cleaning afterwards after the party is over.
And then cleaning up afterwards.
I love the cleaning up afterwards part of the party because it makes you reflect and like as you put things away, as you clean, you just replay the memory of the evening or the event. I love that part rather than cleaning the before part of the party.
How about you?
Um,
What energized you or trained you this year?
the draining, the challenges that we experienced drained me for sure. But I think what energized me the most was the dance, the music, and, and being with people, definitely traveling with friends or traveling with my daughter and being with family and traveling to see family. I visited my brother multiple times this year. I went to Maroon 5 concert in Dallas. Like, so I've done a lot of those kinds of things and they energized me. Things that involved people and music definitely energized me. Should we move to the 2026, some of the questions and share our word of the year? Are you setting an intention for the upcoming year? How do you want to live? How do you want to be? I mean, that's going to tie in with your word, I guess. What are you going to continue doing? What do you want to change completely? You changed your haircut this year, right?
I don't know. I don't actually remember yes, I guess I did. My hair was long in January and then I cut it in the spring, I guess. So I'm growing it long again. Um,
Okay.
yeah. My intention is to grow my hair this year. I also have an intention to keep up with my yoga practice, increase my yoga practice. I want to travel more. I want to make more dates with my friends to do fun things together. Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah, me too. Same. I want to keep what I had last year. I feel like life is working for me. I'm not going to change major things. And at this age, I guess, of life, we have when I took that class about existential commitments, I realized that I'm 51. I've already made all my major existential commitments in life. I'm not changing much any of the decisions that I've made. I'm happy with where I am career wise. I may take on like creative projects, but that's about it.
What about you're also going to have a child leaving your house and going to college this
Oh,
year?
that's a big one.
That's a big one.
I, yeah, I haven't thought about it that much. Honestly, it's hard to imagine. I know it's coming, and perhaps we'll record more podcasts about this as time goes on. At the moment, it's not real. So I can't fake and say, "Oh, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that." I'm not thinking about it yet.
Yeah.
I know it's coming, but it's not a reality yet. So I'm not can't offer you any thoughts. Yeah, major changes are coming for me, for sure. Yeah, I guess that's a good one. Thanks for reminding. Well, I'll post all these questions, but so let's discuss the word of the year that we are choosing for ourselves.
Did you choose your word already?
I did.
You did?
I did. When I was just planning this episode, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with the word cloud as my word. And then I'm like, cloud, that's a weird word. What does that mean? But it just came to me like that, not clouds with the plural, but singular. And so I went on a walk and I thought about it. So, what is cloud? Cloud, not in a dark cloud way, right? Cloud in a light, fluffy, airy way. Cloud that is representing like clean, new, fresh. It's a nice cloud in the sky. It also reminds me to look up more or to get lost in creativity. Look at the clouds, at the sky, and see shapes and see, can you make out the picture? Cloud means just have a light attitude, and but also there is this effervescence to it, right? It can just disappear, come and go. It can change. I don't know. So I think that's the word I'm gonna go for. And I
Hmm.
can put more meanings to it too. But yeah. What do you think? Like when you hear the word cloud, what comes to mind immediately?
Well, I actually was picturing some of your photographs from the Lower Antelope Canyon with the
Ah.
beautiful blue sky behind the red rocks and the white puffy clouds in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the sky. I love nature, obviously. Like I go and I have so many pictures in my phone of like beautiful clouds and sunsets and nature. It's like very common. I look at clouds a lot. And my mom used to ask us to look up and just see like pictures. Like, oh, that cloud looks like a person. That cloud looks like a dog. And then 5 minutes later, it changes. And like, wow, what happened? There's this illusion. There's magic to it. I don't know. I thought that's a good word to have. I'll crystallize it a little more, what it represents for me. But these are my initial thoughts.
Very unique. I didn't expect you to say that.
Last year it was level up, all like, let's go. This year
Well,
is
I mean,
like,
it's
la la
interesting
la.
because the cloud is up too.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I wish I could remember what my word was last year, but my word this year is generosity. And for me, that applies to like giving and receiving because I think it's easy for me to give. I find it easy to give. I find it harder to receive. And I know that, I'm trying to, I think another lesson that I learned this year is just trying to recognize like how good it feels when somebody gives you an opportunity to give to them, or to be, yeah. So generosity. And that was actually an intention that I set for my retreat experience last month. And receiving generosity was my intention for the retreat. And I did have such an enriching experience and kind of saw each woman there as somebody that could really offer me something just by virtue of being themselves, not like doing things for me, but just for being who they were. So that's going to be my, kind of looking for generosity around me and being generous.
I love that. And you know what? When we go to yoga, the teacher always asks us to have what's the intention for this class, right? When I do like my online gatherings or support calls, I feel like when you set an intention, it orientates you. It's grounding. It keeps you aligned. It keeps you, in line, like you know what you want, where you're going. But of course, we lose sight of it, right, throughout the year. Like level up was good maybe for a couple of months, but then I forgot what that word meant. But I think it's important to update that and not update, to refresh from time to time and say, this was my word for this year. Am I using it to guide me in my parenting, in my personal life? Mine is cloud. It's going to represent this. I think it's important, when we don't use intentions, it's just wishy-washy kind of. I love intentions. Not goals. Goals are good too, but intentions bring a different quality to things.
Yeah, it helps you kind of speak things into existence.
And you notice things more. Like at the yoga retreat, if you didn't set that intention, I was thinking about that, you might have missed some of those moments. But because you were focusing on something, you saw it grow, you saw that it was there, and you took it in. And that's a wonderful thing. And I highly recommend people to listen to that episode that I did with Laura Froen, setting intentions. We talked about how to set intentions, when to know when the intention is right. It's a fantastic, good episode. And I am going to listen to our year-end episode from last year. And if I find your word, I will text it to you. I'm curious what your word was. I don't remember. I remember you helped me shape mine because I was a little wobbly. I didn't know what I was. Yeah, I was like next level up, Yeah. So thank you so much for being here, for helping me reflect and creating this space. I love doing these year-end episodes with you. It's always fun to go and listen back and see like, wow, we were saying the same things, or, oh, wow, we changed. Oh, this is the lesson we learned. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, I really appreciate the opportunity to do this each year. And I will say yes anytime you ask me. And it's a really nice way to wrap up 2025. So thank you for your generosity.
And by the way, we were thinking, I was saying, oh my gosh, you didn't come to the podcast this year in 2025. The previous year, we had done several episodes. Wrong. We had done an episode this year together and we had forgotten it.
Which one?
It's about connection.
Oh, yeah.
When I was looking through the catalog of 2020.
When was that?
I can tell you exactly when that was. If you give me 1 minute, Yeah, so we did an episode together, and I don't remember the exact title, but I'll find it now.
I'm definitely going to listen to our 2024 episode again because I really want to hear it.
And by the way, dear listener, the year in review episodes are one of my favorites. Sometimes I do it with Christy. Sometimes I do it with a listener. Sometimes I do it with different people. I have done it in the past. And it's so fun to go back and listen to those episodes. Here, I found it. We've done an episode in May. And it's called How to Connect Deeply with Yourself and Others.
I remember that.
It was all about connection. We went into like deep and discussed connecting with yourself, connecting with others, the quality of connection. And I had forgotten it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully next year we'll do more episodes together. And with that, happy holidays to you. And
happy holidays to you. And I know I'll see you sooner rather than later, but I can't wait to see you and give you a big hug.
Likewise, take care and happy holidays to the listener. That concludes today's conversation, my dear listener, and I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Be sure to hit that follow button so you don't miss future episodes, and take a moment to leave a rating and review. It really helps others find the show. I would love to hear your thoughts and takeaways. Join the conversation in the Authentic Parenting Facebook group or visit the contact page at authenticparenting.com/contact to get in touch. Authentic Parenting is an ad-free show, and your donations is what makes this podcast possible. Support the show by visiting authenticparenting.com/support or becoming a patron at patreon.com. Your contributions make it possible for me to continue bringing you weekly episodes. And as always, connect to the present moment, to yourself and your children. Until next week, I am Anna Seewald. Thank you so much for listening. This episode was edited and produced by Ami Noor. If you need expert support to bring your dream podcast to life, from editing to full production, Ami Noor can help make it happen. You'll find his link in the show notes.